living in Roseville, California. Today, we're going to cover what it's like to live in Roseville, California. We're also going to tell you everything you need to know before moving into Roseville, California. So let's hop into it. Hey everybody, welcome to Sacramento's Real Estate Channel, where we talk everything there is to know about the brand new builds and of course, what there is to do here in Sacramento. If you've been thinking about making a move to the area, subscribe to the channel. And just so you know, we go live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. We'll see you there. All right, it is a lovely Tuesday evening, except for the fact that the winds are absolutely howling outside right now and it is just raining down. So if you're in the Sacramento region, you already know this. We've had some crazy rains recently, and of course, it seems like they just kind of keep going despite the drought that we've had over the last few years. So thankful for the rain, but it's coming hard. So hope you guys are doing well out there, wherever you're coming from or wherever you guys are watching from, I should say. Let us know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear where you're from. I know we got a lot of people from other states, sometimes even different parts of the Bay Area or even different parts of California watching in, tuning in. So I'd love to hear where you guys are from. But today we're going to really get into Roseville, California. Roseville is a hot little area to live in, especially for people looking to move into town. Also, even people that have grown up in Sacramento, Roseville is still one of the hot spots that a lot of people would love to live in or to move to. So today, I'm going to talk about everything you need to know about moving into Roseville, California, maybe some hiccups to look out for, and of course, some of the older, more established areas and some of the newer, brand new construction areas. So we'll kind of give you a good mix today. And before we kind of dive too deep, if you already know that you want to be in a certain part of Roseville, let's say you want to be where all the new construction is, more like in West Roseville, we're going to break that down too, but I also have another video linked down below in the description where it's talking about living specifically in West Roseville and all the new construction going on around there in case you're interested. So let's get into it. Roseville is definitely a nice new community to kind of live in. Of course, it has some older established parts, but Roseville is really one of those hot zones where a lot of people feel like they would love to raise a family there. Some people, even single professionals, would still love to live in Roseville. And a lot of it has to do with proximity of things around there, things to do around there. And of course, just the beauty and the, I guess, safety of certain areas in Roseville. It really just makes it a premium location to be in, and of course to raise a family. That's what you're looking for. So we'll break down some schools, ratings, and things of that nature as well. So great place. I do got some friends hopping on here, so really happy to have you guys on. Rob G, what's up? Sam, where you coming from, Rob? Good to see you on the channel. So appreciate that. And again, let me know where you guys are coming from on the channel. Would be glad to give you a shout out here if I see it. Now, some things to kind of consider. First of all, before we kind of go too far into this, I do want to give you a little bit of lay of the land. If you're new to Roseville, California, for some of you guys that are probably watching the channel, you probably maybe can be quite familiar with Roseville, but you might learn a thing or two, or you might be able to teach me a thing or two in the comments down below. So this is kind of lay of the land here in Roseville. Now, one thing to consider, most people, right, we call it Roseville generally speaking, but there is definitely two distinguishers in Roseville. You got kind of the eastern portion of Roseville, which let's just say it's the east side of Highway 80 right here. And then of course you have the western. This is what we'd consider more western Roseville here, and I would kind of consider this more central, maybe a little bit parts of eastern Roseville here. Now, everybody will probably give me different feedback on that, especially if they live in the area, but this is my show, so I'm going to do it my way, all right? So let's just say this is east and this is west, just for general speaking sake. But that's kind of the main dividers, because over here in East Roseville, for instance, on this east side of Highway 80, this is a really nice area because it's more established. In my opinion, it's been around for longer. You're going to have some more older established homes here built in, like, you know, let's say 70s, 80s, 90s roughly. Of course, there's still some really high-end homes in there. And I just absolutely, me personally, my personal take, I love this part of East Roseville right here. Now, this over here, sorry, this stuff is popping up like I don't want it to, but this part of Roseville right here, You got the Ravine Parkway, just beautiful part of Roseville. A lot of nice established homes. Some homes with views, some homes back up to the trails, which I love because you can jog on the trails in the spring, summertime, and it's just gorgeous. You got some kind of nature preserve pockets in here, but also more than that, you got nice back road access. I mean, right here you have Sierra College Boulevard, which you could take all the way down going south and go to Highway 50. You can hop onto Highway 80 or get onto Highway 65 fairly quickly. Over here too, to the right, you have Folsom Lake, which is also a big selling point, especially with our hot summers. So that's kind of the lay of the land as far as East Roseville goes. Now, with that being said, East Roseville is definitely in demand. I mean, just to give you an idea, I did have a client ask about East Roseville the other day about a property. And in the first 2-3 days, they already had a multiple offer situation. And we're talking about homes in the higher price point, you know, easily over $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. Things are just selling there. So, you know, certain areas there might demand a higher price, but there is a desirability factors to there as well. There's some really nice, even some smaller gated communities in there. You can get a semi-custom, custom home in certain pockets in there, but a lot of the homes will be kind of more, I don't want to say track style, but in a way they are. They might be a little bit semi-custom, but really nice homes and opportunities in that area. Another reason I really like it is it's pretty closely connected to Rockland there, which is actually an area that I grew up in. So I'm very familiar with this eastern part of Roseville, and of course Granite Bay and Loomis around there. So it's nice. You can kind of go to different towns around you in that section of Roseville. Now, when we talk about East Roseville, again, as I mentioned, there's the pricing factor, but outside of that, I mean, when you go into West Roseville, you're going to see a lot more new construction. Now, when you don't go too far into West Roseville, let's go with that kind of middle area. There's still going to be older established communities, still very nice, still highly desirable. Don't get me wrong. But again, the further you go west, I've seen, you know, you get a lot more affordable pricing, especially when it comes to new homes. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, let's talk about why you would want to move into Roseville. Why even care, regardless of east or west? Why would you consider Roseville? Well, I would say, big shout out to, sorry, I just saw your comment. Orange County, big shout out to Rob. Thanks for watching from Orange County. That's really cool. I got a lot of friends out of Orange County. Maybe my friend Steven might be even watching right now as well. He's an agent out there, so really good people. But when it comes to Roseville and why you would want to move here is because really it's this central location right here. And really right here at the Galleria Mall and right in this central location, you got Costco right here. So as you can see, this kind of tie between Highway 65 and Highway 80, this general section right here is a stellar location because that's really going to be all your main shopping. Like I mentioned there, you got Costco, you got the Galleria Mall. It's a huge mall. I mean, people from other towns and even other parts of Sacramento will easily drive a half hour or more just to come shopping here. So a lot of big box stores. You got like the Best Buy, of course, like Nordstrom, different shopping stores, and of course a ton of restaurants to choose from. Now, more than that, if you're thinking of like things to do, what to do, you may have heard of right here, right across the street from the Galleria. It's not coming up on my map, but this is the Fountains right here. And the Fountains is a really well-known spot that if you want to just go and hang out in the evening, of course they have fountains there, but you can grab a cup of coffee or even some food, and it's a really nice walkable area if you're just looking for a date night or even for a place for the kids to hang out. There's a little splash pad area for the kids in the summer. So pretty cool location, I would say, as far as when it comes to living in Roseville. Now, there's a ton of stuff to do in Roseville. Like, as I mentioned, those are just a few. But if you're into like trails and you want to do those evening walks out, you know, not too far from where you're living area, there's a lot of neighborhoods in Roseville that offer that. And a lot of the trails are actually interconnected. So you could go for miles and miles on a bike ride on the right trail and really probably cross through most of Roseville, which a lot of people don't know, even living in Roseville. So that's kind of interesting and kind of cool there as well. Now, some other things you might want to consider is in Roseville, if you're into the gym scene, you got two really nice high-end gyms. You got Lifetime Fitness on the more eastern side of Roseville, and then you also have on the western side, more central part of Roseville, where I just showed you on the near Galleria is Villa Sport, another really nice high-end gym with like a spa-like feel. So if you're bougie like me and you like the feel of those types of things, it's a great place to be. Okay, so really nice to kind of have you guys on. I'm seeing some of the chats as we go along here. If you guys have some specific questions, let me know down below. So I got my good friend Mark hopping on here. Like the gray wall. I know it took me forever to paint this gray wall, but I'm glad it turned out pretty good. We actually had lunch with Mark earlier today talking about some investment options and strategies. We had some good Korean barbecue, so big shout out to my friend right there. He's got a great channel as well. I got Jimmy Turner. Good to hear you guys. We just had an awesome call the other day. Hello from Colorado. Really liking some of you guys hopping on here. This is really cool and exciting. I got another one. I really like your background. Looks even better than before. Thank you so much, because I was struggling with the background for a while. I was not liking it. So again, back to kind of living in Roseville here. And big shout out to you guys for watching the channel weekly. I really appreciate that. Some other things to do besides kind of like the high-end gym, the feel and stuff, which I also really recommend, because we've had quite a few clients want to move into the area, and maybe they might come from an area like the Bay Area where they're not used to our higher temperatures here. Because, you know, in the summer we can easily get in the high 80s and the 90s and even up over the 100 mark in degrees Fahrenheit. So a pool sometimes is a must for people, or they want to be in a community where a pool is in the community, you know, kind of HOA feel community thing. While there are a few of those here and there, another great option, which I've been telling people, is a lot of the people that live in Roseville, they might just go to one of those gyms and pay for, you know, maybe a little bit more expensive premium on the gym pass, but they have really nice pools and jacuzzis that a lot of people just take advantage of in the summer. So it's a good way to kind of get out of it instead of spending, of course, a ton of money for a pool, or sometimes, you know, doing the pool maintenance. Not a lot of people are really into that. And I think you'll realize that pool maintenance is actually quite expensive. So something to keep in mind. Other things you can do in Roseville, of course, you got theaters, tons of shopping, tons of grocery stores. You got high-end grocery stores. You got lower entry-level grocery stores. I mean, the full mix, the whole 9 yards. But really, the one other cool thing is that you have proximity to Folsom Lake. And I'll even just show you here on a map really quickly. Folsom Lake is just amazing in the summer. I personally was a boat owner for a long time. I do a lot of fishing, but also just a lot of hanging out in the summer months. You know, you can easily still finish work at 3-4 o'clock and still make it out to the lake for a good, you know, 3-4 hour session for sunset. And the lake gets plenty warm in the summer. So if you're into water sports, water skiing, or just honestly chilling, maybe using a kayak or a paddleboard, this is a great area, because in Roseville, just depending where you live, again, we lived more on this side of town, like Rockland, but here from the eastern part of Roseville, you can be in Folsom Lake in like 15 minutes, more or less. So that's pretty cool. Really quickly, while we got the map up, some other areas that I would consider, let's say Roseville is not working for you. Let's say you're not finding the home that you really like in Roseville. Some other areas you might consider is right here in Rockland. All this kind of area. Rockland offers phenomenal homes. Still got that, you know, kind of middle pricing in certain older areas. But then, of course, you got the high-end custom homes as well. Up here, you might want to consider, this is Rockland as well, kind of the Whitney area. But the more further you go up, like Lincoln right here, you can really get into some nice homes, especially if you're okay with the suburban feel, maybe a little bit track home style. But a lot of the homes here were built in the early 2000s, and even up until now, they have beautiful areas with nature, open spaces, trails, and things of that nature. So if Roseville's not cutting it for you, Rockland and Lincoln up here tend to be great secondary options for people, especially looking kind of more newer, safer, upkept community feel. Those are great options. I would highly recommend. I would personally live in those areas. No questions asked. Some other areas that you might want to consider, let's say Roseville is just a little bit out of your budget. Some people might drop down here to like Citrus Heights, which can still be really good in some areas, and then also Antelope over here. So that's just some areas. If your budget allows, a lot of people will even try to get into Granite Bay over here, because this location is just absolutely phenomenal. In fact, last month we just sold a $1 million home out there, brand new. So just literally biking distance from the lake. So really gorgeous locations here. generally speaking. So you can't really go wrong. And if you're kind of thinking, hey, Sam, I'm not really sure where we want to land, but we want to move into the area, you can absolutely set up a consultation with us down below. I'd be happy to set up some time with you, just 15 minutes. Then I can kind of pick your brain and let you know what might be a good fit for you, your family, your budget, and things of that nature. Now, other things that I would mention about Roseville, if you're into trails or a little bit outdoorsy, let's say, I kind of mentioned before, you do have the ravines, the trails, some really nice kind of nature open spaces between certain communities. I wouldn't say it's everywhere, but some really nice, activities, as I've mentioned, Folsom Lake, things of that nature. A lot of people that are also into mountain biking love going to Folsom Lake and around there. There's a ton of mountain biking trails if you're into that, or even driving up to Auburn offers plenty of that as well. I've done it a few times. I've fallen off of a few hills on a mountain bike. My friends keep trying to get me back into it. I just don't think it's my thing. So if that's yours, you'll be happy to kind of chat with you about that. Now, moving on, you might also want to consider Roseville has an older part to it. There's an older town in Roseville. So downtown Roseville, that's a cool spot if you want to just get some good coffee. What I would really recommend, actually, I went there today, is Fourscore Coffee. That's owned by some local people that we know really well. So shout out to Fourscore. That's a great low-key little coffee shop in downtown Roseville. Outside of that area, you might see a lot of older homes. And if you're shopping in Roseville for the first time and you're kind of going more on the, let's say, more affordable price point of homes, like the 400, 500,000, you might run across a few older homes that are around there. But just consider that a lot of those homes in that kind of specific older part of Roseville are going to be like early 1900s to 1940s, 1950s. Going to be a different feel to the rest of Roseville. I'm just going to be very transparent, but still some really nice pockets in there. Like I've had friends that buy homes in there and things like that. So there's definitely some nice charm to some of these homes that were renovated. Kind of gives in my opinion, a little bit of a downtown, midtown feel around there, which is really cool. So a few pockets here and there that are pretty nice around there. So that's some things here. Now, as far as diversity or the type of housing you can get in Roseville, again, you can get these older homes that I just mentioned that have maybe been updated. Here and there are a few duplexes, kind of smaller multifamily options. But the majority, I would say, is kind of your suburb tract style homes that were built in the 80s, 90s, and of course the early 2000s up until now. You still have a lot of new construction. Also, a lot of condos in the Roseville area. Like if the budget doesn't really allow as much, a good option would be there's quite a few condos that get sold near the Galleria, Roseville Galleria shopping mall. So really nice area to be in. I know a few friends that have bought there and they're really happy with the location. Now, I do want to jump into West Roseville and really break down West Roseville because this has been kind of a hot zone. A lot of people have been asking about. Let me see if I can share it here. Sometimes technology takes a little bit of effort, guys. So here we go. So let's just focus a little bit more on West Roseville. Now, in this part of West Roseville, this area right here, if you could see my cursor, is just really been booming. A lot of this has been really farmland over the last 10, 20 years, and it just kind of keeps going more and more west. One thing I would consider here, and I just had this conversation actually with Jim, who was talking about this area, is that there is a water treatment plant in this general area right here, which may or not be a big deal for some of people, but more than the water treatment plant is that there is a landfill up in this area. And from the landfill, depending where you move over here into West Roseville, you may or may not get some certain smells depending on the draft, the wind, all of that. Now, again, I've talked to people that live in areas, they're like, never affects me. Don't even notice it. And other people are like, whoa, I don't want to live there if I can smell that. So it's a hit and miss depending on the specific area. I wouldn't say it's everything in this pocket smells it or not. It really depends. So what I would say to you is if that's a big deal, and of course it is to most people, is to drive out there, spend a couple days here and there, maybe talk to some neighbors or people that have already moved in. That would be my suggestion to you. So just totally something you must know before just buying a house in West Roseville, sight unseen, which has definitely happened with some people. But one nice thing about this area, you got La Provence. That's a really nice restaurant. Rayleigh's One Market that recently just opened up. That's basically like a high-end Rayleigh's. I would say it's comparable to maybe the Nugget or Whole Foods. West Park around here, they got the new West Park High School that recently got built, like I think about a year ago, and a lot of newer elementary schools coming into here. So this area is just getting revamped like crazy. So if schools are a big thing for you, you want your kids to be in newer, high-rated schools, this would be a good location for that. Because it's new, newer schools just tend to get rated higher. And of course, the new West Park High School is going to be huge for this area. Kitchen 747. 747. There's another cafe around here. So another little small shopping kind of eating area. So stuff is coming in here. Whereas like 3-5 years ago, there was really nothing. And if you lived out here, you would basically have to drive all the way over here to the Galleria area, which is a solid 15-20 minute drive, just depending on how much traffic is going on. So once you're on this part of town, I would say you're on the further west part of Roseville, which is totally fine. I've sold quite a few homes out there. I've had quite a few happy clients living there. So it's really about desirability and proximity. For some people that don't commute much, they don't really care. They like this area. You got Sun City over here as well, which is a nice 55 and up active adult community. It's beautiful around here. There's some really nice golf courses all through here. Right here is Diamond Oaks. Sorry, that's the Sierra View, but Diamond Oaks right here. We just sold one of my friend's houses over there. Stellar area, stellar location. So it just really depends where you want to land and kind of what you're into and what you're looking for. But there's a lot of opportunity here in Roseville as a whole. Now, I do see one of the comments saying here, what are the new communities? What new communities are in Roseville? So I'm going to actually break those down here right now. Some community to consider. And of course, I don't have my list in front of me, so I can't get into all of them. It's just too much information. But you got entry-level homes like D.R. Horton building out there. You could get single-family homes, let's say starting about 1,700 square feet, 2-story. You're going to be probably in the mid to high 500s. So let's say 550, 575 starting. So those are going to be kind of like your entry-level pricing. Now, of course, there are some cheaper ones. They did some with patio-style backyards and a small HOA, so a little bit tighter homes. Those are also going to be a little bit cheaper than that. But your typical homes here are going to be probably in the 600s, 700s. You can get single-story floor plans, 2-story floor plans, and some smaller backyards or even bigger backyards. You can easily go up into the $800,000, $900,000 mark. Now, some homes that I'd really consider that have just really wowed me that I personally really enjoyed is you got Vale at Solaire, which is a Taylor Morrison communities. Those are going to be 3,000, 4,000 square feet, big homes, bigger garages. One of them even has like an in-law suite downstairs that you can build. It's just absolutely gorgeous homes. If you're interested in something like that, those are actually in our channel down below. So make sure to look out for those. Another community that they did is Magnolia at Fitiment Farms, Taylor Morrison. So you got quite a few options. You got JMC Homes building out here too. They had 2 or 3 sister communities. They're still ongoing right now in the low 600s. So, and the nice thing about JMC Homes is they include their solar and some upgrades typically in their price. So you kind of save there and you're not really too worried about overspending in upgrades or paying for the solar or things of that nature. So that's been a huge benefit with them specifically. There are a few new other new builds coming to the area. We're going to be reviewing those on the channel as well. But my main point is this, is there's a ton of new homes to choose from, especially here on this western part of Roseville. So you can't really go wrong. Like all this right here, you got KB Homes down here more towards the border of right here, like this section right here on the PFE road. You got KB Homes down here, DR Horton as well. So there's like a lot of different homes. You can even buy a home in Morgan Creek here. Now, this is not new home territory, but Morgan Creek is a beautiful area. We actually toured a luxury home on our channel down below, but you can see a lot of these homes back up to the golf course. So you can get a semi-custom, really estate, beautiful looking home in a gated community. And this area, I mean, it is gorgeous. They do wedding venues here, all sorts of different parties and things of that nature. So highly recommend it. Now, you do still have a farmer's market over here, so if you're into that sort of thing, you want to wheel and deal, this is a cool, fun spot on a Saturday. But again, you're going to kind of get into the older part of Roseville right around here, and you do have the train track running through here. So keep that in mind. Depending where you land in Roseville, this is still a very nice area, and it's definitely different neighborhoods here. So it's a mix of the style. There's some more rural properties, and there's more tract homes here. So it's definitely a mix, but there's some really beautiful properties out here, especially if you want some space between you and your neighbors. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. So I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. I hope you're getting a benefit out of this content. And if you are, make sure to get that thumbs up going and smashing that thumbs up. And of course, if you have a friend or a family member that's looking to move into Roseville, share this video with them, help them out on their search. And of course, if you guys have questions after this video is posted, I know we're doing a live stream right now, drop it in the comments down below. I personally read all those comments. If there's an area or a community that you'd like us to review, let us know. We'd be happy to do it, or we'd be happy to even hop on a one-on-one consultation with you and kind of show you the lay of the land and show you what you can get here in Roseville, California. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been awesome to have you guys on. It's another beautiful Tuesday evening. We'll be back next Tuesday reviewing the market and, of course, reviewing another new community here in Sacramento. If there's any way that me and my team can help you out, reach out to us down below. We'd love to help you. But for now, my name is Sam with Golovey Real Estate. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.